Okay, so hello, this is Mark, and tonight I'm working on a couple of Samsung data recoveries. I'm going to start with an S6. So I soldered into battery connector just to see what it was doing on DC power supply. I saw what was clearly going to be a VCC main short, so I've soldered on to a nice convenient spot to connect a VCC main here, and now I will connect DC power supply and see what gets hot. So this is obviously came in as no power. Alright, so I've got that connected, and now I'm consuming 3 amps and feeling around for heat, and I've got heat right here. Oh, look at that. Surprise. Look at that guy. That guy's a little hot. Alright. So, this customer really wants his phone to just work again. And that's not a promise I make when the purpose is data recovery. He's mostly concerned with getting his data back, but you know, if we can make it work again, we'll make it work again. So we've got this chip here, which I've looked up, and it's like a power amplifier for 4G LTE signals. So just so happens I have a donor board over here that is a totally different board. See, the back is totally different, but it's got the exact same chip. So we're just going to try swapping this over and see if that solves it. Hopefully it does. Alright, so my mark is in the top right on that one. Let me just check the chat real quick. Peter Campbell, hello there. Good to see you again. Oh, look at that. Justin, Art of Repair is here. Not going to sleep yet, man? Oh, I guess it's not that late in Arizona, is it? Alright, let's see. Rakis Rajbahar says, hi, I am Indian. Well, hello there. Wonder what time it is in India right now. So anybody who's late joining here, just to catch you up, we've got an S6, and it has a VCC main short, which apparently is within this chip right here. So we're gonna take this sucker off, throw a new one on, see what happens. Alright, this guy wants a little bit more heat. I'm guessing because he has a lot of ground under him. These Samsungs typically need a lot less heat with BGA components, but with some of these QFN packages you need to go a little bit higher, but still not as high as you need in an iPhone. And I can't stress that enough. Anybody that's out there working on Samsungs, please, for the love of God, don't use the same temperatures you use on iPhones. Dial it down, figure out what works, because I am really sick of seeing boards after you guys have raped them because you used way too much heat and made solder balls pop out from under the CPU. Oh, look at that. Bunch of ground under there. Surprise. Who would have guessed? All right, so we're going to take the identical chip from the donor board and see what chat's saying. Justin came here to learn how to do the 6S dock FPC. Yeah, you're not fooling anybody. I don't believe that for a second. Be careful of the floating caps. Yeah, that would be bad. I'd hate for a capacitor to go somewhere it's not supposed to. All right. Now, I could clean everything off. I could desolder everything and use my braid and clean everything up, clean up the chip and reball everything, but man, that seems like a lot of work. I'm gonna live dangerously and just slap this sucker on. Let's see what happens. You know what? I'll give it a little bit of flux though. I'll do that. Oh man, I didn't change the title. Oh, I just saw it fixing things for you. I just saw that I did not change the title. Well, you know what? It's been so long since I've streamed that I forgot that that's a thing that I need to do. Oops. I'll fix it in post. All right, so I'm watching all these little pads around the edges, making sure they all get shiny. And I'm just lightly tapping on the top of the chip, which is okay if you have a QFN package like this. It is never, ever, 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 ever okay if you're working with BGA. So do not tap on the top of BGA chips. It's very bad. All right, let's see what this thing does when I try to boot it now, after I cool it off. Re-hot Wi-Fi. Yeah, maybe. Maybe not this time. Maybe next time. All right, let's see what it does when I connect power now. Oh, look, no more VCC main short. You're going to have to trust me because you can't see my power supply, but I promise there's no more VCC main short. So we'll take the wire off of main, connect it back to the battery positive. And connect the ground back up. And let's see what it does when I try to boot. Oh, that looks like it's booting. Yeah, that looks a lot like it's booting. All right, let's get a screen over here. Let's see what happens. All right, still looks like it's booting, but I'm not getting any image. So this is the customer screen that was provided to me. So just to rule out the possibility that that's bad, grab my old known good kind of screen. All right, well, we still got no image. So why do we have no image? I don't think it's because the board's still too hot. All right, let me give this a minute and see if it boots up and detects, and then I'll know that I'm working with a no image problem versus some other unknown problem. So I'm going to connect the dock here, connect the power back up, and I'll check the chat while I give this a minute to boot up and see if it is detected. All right, so keeps jumping back down to 0. But these Samsungs do need you to hold the power button for longer than iPhones do. So it's like it's hitting about 1.5 amps, hanging around 1 amp up to 1.5 amps, down a little bit, which seems a little bit high for these guys. And definitely the board up here near the top of it is a bit hotter than I would expect it to be. So there could be some sort of short on an image line. Let's see, where's my old USB? Let's see if we are detected. Does still appear to be booting. Yep, there we go. Lauren's Galaxy S6. All right, so we have booting, but we've still got some sort of an image problem. So this is fun. I thought this was going to be super straightforward and easy, and I was going to be moving on to the Note 4 in no time. But surprise, we've got an image problem as well as the baseband main short. All right, so I was feeling heat up here, but there was no pinpoint of heat. And I know that image-related stuff is on the other side of the board under here. So we'll just, let's see, I think we're gonna pop this off. It's not that important. We can do without it. We'll get rid of that camera first, though. All right. So sometimes I can get this shield up without using hot air just by prying and the addition of a little bit of iron. There we go, getting there. All right. I think I can work with that. There we go. Just break this guy off. And to those of you out there watching right now, I apologize. I am not paying attention to chat. I have no idea what you're saying. I need an assistant that reads chat for me. All right, let's get out the old multimeter. Let's just see. So I know that this guy makes image-related voltages, the old MPB02. So let's just see if there's anything that's short. No, that's 0.019, and I know that there's one like low resistance line on this guy, so I'm going to say that even though that beeps, it's not short. All right, so those guys aren't short. Let's start checking caps. Yeah, that's connected to that coil, which is on that low resistance line. So usually it's going to be one of these big caps that's shorted if one of them's shorted, and if not, it's usually going to be the chip itself. So we will give this a try booting up. I'm going to go ahead and connect a screen so that image voltage is enabled. And we'll see, maybe it's the chip that's getting hot. All right, let's prompt to boot. No, didn't quite get it to boot then. All right, come on, you got to stay connected for me. All right, holding for like 6 seconds so that it actually starts trying to boot. Now we're jumping up to 1 amp and over. Not feeling a lot of heat right here though. And we're back to 0, which is weird because we got the LED lit right here. So that's a little strange. All right, come on. Give me some heat, brother. And you know, the fail-safe with the S6 is that no matter what happens here, I can always do chip off. So, you know, it's not a question of whether or not I'm going to get the data. It's a question of whether or not I'm going to get the phone to boot up natively and send it back working, which, again, I have not guaranteed, but I'll do if I can. All right, still not getting any super obvious signs of heat. So I could make sure that he's putting out all of the voltages that he's supposed to, or instead of probing around and trying to find a bunch of voltages and messing around with that, I could just replace it with a new one, which I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to replace that guy with a new one. If that doesn't work, then I'll just take the chip off of this and reball it and read the data directly, and then move on to the Note 4. Just because I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time here. All right. And again, for anybody just joining, I do apologize that I am ignoring you in chat, but seriously, who's got time to read chat while they're repairing? Unless you're Louis Rossman and you have all day to sit around and read chat and fix things. I don't have all day. It's like 2 in the morning here. I want to get this done. All right. So my dot was in the top right, right? It was like that? Probably. I don't know. Maybe I should check chat and see if you guys remember. I feel like it was like that. All right, let's see if that does the trick. And if it doesn't, I'll take the chip off. I'll recover the data. And then maybe I'll go back in and try to find the video problem. All right, let's see if we can get an image now. Got nothing. My wires aren't connected good. Let's see, are you still connected up here? Yeah, you're good. All right. All right, ground, you're good. We still got nothing, no image. What the hell? All right. Let's check. All the chokes look good. I'll just do some quick probing. All right, you guys are good. All right, none of the usual suspects are short. All right, so it's possible there could be an open line on one of those. I don't have all of the open lines memorized, but I have most of the ground memorized. It's possible there's an open line, maybe a blown filter somewhere. But this guy really wants his data, so I'm going to get the data first. So that means I'll be removing this guy right here, reading all the data off it after I reball it, and then I'll slap it back on. Maybe I'll make that another stream later in the week. Slap that guy back on and see if I can figure out why it has no image. I really didn't budget the time tonight to troubleshoot no image as well as a main short. So we're going to move on from this guy. I know you probably want to see me solve that, and I promise that I will revisit it eventually. But now we're going to move on to this note 4. So we've got a note 4. This one also is no power. Let's see. We got ground here and battery positive here. And I'm going to prompt it to boot. And as soon as I prompt, I've got about 800 milliamp draw and just steady right around, fluctuating between like 850 to 870 milliamps. And I'm getting heat from this side of the board, somewhere right in here. So that's obviously going to be a short. So I'll go ahead and prompt again, flip the board over, and use the old freeze spray and see what's getting hot. So something in here. Oh, look at that. That coil's getting hot. Oh, look at that. That little bastard right there. So I wonder if that coil could be my short to ground. Is that possible? No, the answer is no. No, it is not. It's not possible. The coil cannot possibly be short to ground. It's an inline component. But I am going to take it off and see what side of that coil the short is on. Is it on the side that goes to the chip, which would be the top in this orientation, or the side that goes to various capacitors? It's the side that goes to capacitors. The side that goes to the chip is fine. So there is a cap on this line that's short. All right, so I know from checking a known good board that the voltage that should be present on that line is about 1.2 volts. So I'm going to set my DC power supply to 1.2. And then we'll just inject voltage and see if something gets hot. And let's hope that it does, so that I can end this video fixing something. Yeah, consuming 2.2 amps at 1.2 volts. So that should be enough to give us some heat. Let's see what's getting hot. Okay, board, you're frozen now. There, now you're frozen. All right, something ought to be getting hot here pretty soon. Oh, and is it my wire? Is my wire what's getting hot? Ah, well, that's a pain in the ass. Hate it when the wire's what's getting hot. All right, we'll give this one more try. All right, everybody's good and frozen. And we're consuming 2.7 amps. And look at that, wire is the first thing to melt. Well, that is unfortunate. All right, so now we have to go on a hunt. I wonder if there could be something on the other side of the board. Probably not. Probably nothing else on the other side of the board that's on that line. But we'll pull up ZXW and see. So let me switch to ZXW and pull up not the iPhone 8. We need the Samsung. What was this? A Note 4? Let's see. Let's see which Note 4 matches this board. Does that match? No, that doesn't match. Does this one match? This is the trick with Samsungs and ZXW, is that like some of them are going to match and most of them aren't. That seems like a match. All right, so we got that. All right, yeah, P1P225. All right, so we've got a few different options here, quite a few. That's a lot. I don't like having to check that many. Ugh. And there are some on the other side too. Ugh. And it could be CPU, or it could be these guys. That's the worst. See, now that makes me want to just take the chip off of this one too. All right. I'll take this chance to just take a break and check the chat to see if there's anything I'm missing that I should be paying attention to. Probably nothing. It's probably fine. I'm sure you guys are just like saying stuff that I don't need to know. All right. So
I am showing you guys the board, but I'm looking back at ZXW just to get an idea of what all the possibilities are. And really, it's just guys kind of in this area, and a couple of guys over here that could be related. And then a couple of guys in here. Let's see. Those two. And then, yeah, these two guys. Could be those two guys. Maybe. So let's see if those guys get hot. Somebody should be getting hot. It's really weird that I'm consuming like 2.5 amps at 1.2 volts and I'm not getting any heat at all. There's also a couple of guys in here that it could be. Hey, look at that. Look at that guy right there. He looks like he was getting hot when he wasn't supposed to be. Wonder if he is one of my candidates. Let's see. You know what? We got a couple of guys here that got hot too. So that may just be heat transfer from working on the other side. No, I changed that guy. There's no way things should be getting hot over here. So that's really strange. I don't think anybody's been working in this area. I'm not feeling any heat. And you know, when in doubt, when it's the wire that's heating up, one option is always to just use a bigger wire. And this wire usually works just fine for me, but it is not working at this time. And I could dig out a thicker wire, but what I think I'm going to do is just double up on this wire and use 2 pieces. Alright, we got you connected. Now we need to get you connected also. Alright, you're both connected. Okay, let's see if doubling up on this wire makes the cap or chip that is failing get hot. Oh, my ground popped off. Whoops. Right, we're going to put you back on. Now, most shorts you can find just using your fingers. Popping off again. Son of a bitch. And still nothing on the board feels like it's getting hot. And what that normally means, is that there's a really big short on the board somewhere. So, you know, I've seen it before where it's like a solder bridge where somebody's worked on the board before and created a bridge of solder that is thick enough to cause a short. But it's basically a really low resistance short, so much so that just the resistance of the wire running to the board is enough that that's a higher resistance than the actual short on the board, so that the heat presents itself by heating up the wire. But let's just see if freeze spray will tell us anything now that I've doubled up on my wire. All right, so should be something either in this area or this area. And so far we've got nothing. All right, well this, it's hard to say. Seems like maybe something in this area warmed up before that did. Maybe. Let's just flip the board over and see. Look at this side, see if anything pops out. So we're looking at, there was a couple of guys over here, and there was a couple of guys over here. Still nothing. Nothing jumping out. Alright, so if freeze spray, well, if fingers don't tell us anything, then we try freeze spray. Freeze spray doesn't tell us anything, then we just start popping candidates off and see how it goes. So, let's see. I'm just going to pull up ZXW and just start popping these guys off one by one and seeing if that solved it. Alright, so first we got this big guy. I'll take these wires off, don't need those anymore. Alright, did you relieve the short? Nope. So we will stick you back on. Now I am going to stick big caps back on, but the smaller caps, those are fine to just knock off. So I'm not going to worry about sticking those guys back on, because all I'm really after is data on this, and I don't know that this big cap is required, but that's kind of the general rule, is usually you can't get away with leaving big caps off. Come on, get over there. Ah, you son of a bitch. Getting stuck on the stupid tape that's under there. All right. No, get in there. Get in there. There you go. Go to your home. There we go. Ah, you're still a little too far over. There we go. All right. Now we will move on and pop off some of the smaller guys that it could be. So let's see, I'm just checking ZXW. ZXW says, ZXW doesn't really tell me because you guys are in a different layout, but it could be these two right here. So let's see if those are shorted. Yep, you guys are shorted. And we're just gonna pop these guys off. Not gonna use heat on them. All right, is my line still shorted? Yes. Okay, next candidate is, let's see, could be this guy. Again, the layout is a bit different. That's the problem with these Samsungs is you can't really get a good feel for the layout of some of this stuff. All right. Yeah, pretty sure that this guy is one of my candidates, so I'm going to pop him off. And that did not help. So moving on. Next is going to be, let's see, we got him, and then we've got this guy. Should be on the line. Left side should be ground. Right side should be the line. Yep. Nope, that didn't solve it. All right. Next, we've got these three guys down here. Should all be on that line. And they are. So I'm just going to pop all three of them off. All right.
Is that line still shorted? Yes. All right, how many of these caps are we going to remove? Let's see. We've got a couple more that are, I believe, these two guys that are under this piece of the shield right here. So we're going to yank those guys off. Get out of there, little bastard. All right, so those guys are off. All right. And do we still have a short? Yes, of course we do. It's obviously going to be the last one that I pick. It's always the last one that you pick. All right, so now we're getting into an area of the board that does not match ZXW. Although this does. This guy should be one of them. Yeah. Get rid of you. Still short. Okay, so now there's two in this group of guys right here that are on the line, and two somewhere over here that are on the line, but it is not clear from ZXW which those are because this board doesn't match. So let me just check, see if another board matches. No. All right, does this one match? No. All right, so I've got no match for which ones of these guys it could be. All right. Where am I at here? Okay, so let's just go with ones that match and flip the board over. All right, so these two should be on the same line, which is going to be this line right here. This is going to be ground that they're all connected to. We can see it connects through there and goes along that end. These two caps are going to be on that line. So we'll pop you guys off. And, you know, again, this being a Note 4, no matter what the outcome is with me tracking down the short, even if in the end it ends up being under or within chip, I can still do chip off data recovery. So
this data is getting recovered one way or the other.
All right, so these guys over here,
We got, let's see,
we got these two that are vertical.
and then 1, 2, 3, 4.
Number 5 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to get rid of. All right, now that looks promising. The fact that that cap was barely hanging on and came off super easy, that looks promising. Let's see. No! No, we're still shorted. Son of a bitch. Ah, that was really, I was hopeful.
All right, so got those two, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Floor is just littered with caps. That's the way she goes. It's the way of the road. And we're still short.
No! All right. So
one more cap on this side that we can do.
we got
The middle in this row of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
uh-oh.
Well, that's not good. Let's just test and see. Doesn't match my board view. So I thought it was going to be this one, and it is that one. So we'll pop him off.
And that did not relieve it. All right, so
that is it for caps on the top side of the board. It could also be this PMIC. So that is an option. It could be the PMIC. You know what? Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it's got this weird kind of bubbly thing right there. So that could be it. Let's just take that sucker off. You know what? Who cares? What's the worst that could happen? I have to do chip off. Oh no. Oh no, that would be terrible. All right, let's yank this guy off. See if that relieves our short. Maybe our short was internal to the PMIC this whole time. All right, now we'll go back and test this guy. No, it was not the PMIC. So we'll stick him back on. Ah. Stop flopping around, you bastard.
Alright, now let's go back to the back side of the board and figure out who is left. Because now we're down to tracking down caps that do not match my board view. So we just got to probe around and see who beeps and has 0 ohms resistance to ground. Come on, break down. Alright. So there's some guys over here somewhere. Somewhere up in this area. Not you. Yeah, obviously you. You're one of them. Okay, you're one of them too. Alright, what do we got left? I don't know. Schematic says that there's going to be 2 more somewhere in this neighborhood, but the layout is different from the only board view that even somewhat closely matches. So we'll just probe around till we find them. Nobody. Alright. I think I've probed everything around here now. So, unless there's 2 caps on this line that are not anywhere in this area and are somewhere else, the only thing that leaves is that it is internal to the CPU slash memory. You know what? I don't think that these guys were match on this board to the board view that I'm looking at. Alright, yeah. So this is another candidate here. Oh, wake back up, multimeter. Alright, do you guys connect over here? No. Yeah, none of those guys are on that line. So yeah, pretty sure the only thing left on this line besides PMIC is the CPU slash memory itself. So
that leaves me with no other option than to take the memory off and do chip off. So yeah, that's kind of anticlimactic. It's, I set these two boards aside because the symptoms were things that are usually pretty straightforward and easy to solve, but, that's not always the case. So, yeah, sorry I couldn't fix it in front of you, but unfortunately, both of these boards are going to end up being chip off, which is just kind of a pain in the ass and not really worth. You don't want to see me reballing these chips and trying to figure out what to talk about for the next half hour. Yeah, that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching, and have a good night, guys.